this computer. So, hi Deborah. This is Deborah Laws, Dance Business Lab. Definitely give this gal a follow on Instagram, and I think you've got a Facebook group as well, haven't you, Deborah?
Yeah, Facebook group is called Dance Business Lab Community.
Brilliant.
And there's a page as well, which is Dance Business Lab with Deborah Laws, but it's the community, the free group that's where I do 90% of stuff. So yeah.
Fabulous. So we'll share all those links. If you're watching this on catch up, we'll share all the links probably within the YouTube or wherever we're posting it. So do connect with Deborah as well. So this is the first sort of one. We did a little skill building one last month, but this is the first of bringing in wonderful speakers who are giving up 15 minutes of their precious time to share some skills that can help us in our dance business. So wanted to introduce Deborah Laws, Dance Business Lab, who's going to be talking to us about 5 levels of marketing to get more students into our classes. Is that right, Deborah?
Yeah, absolutely.
So over to you.
Fabulous. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen, if that's okay, and go into my Canva training. Just let me know if you can all see this okay.
Yep. You can see the hunky fireman you've been looking up in the background, Deborah, as well.
All right, so welcome everybody. Thank you for listening in today. My name's Deborah Laws and I'm the founder and director of Dance Business Lab. I'm also an ISTD Modern and Tap examiner, a teacher. I run a teacher training course for the qualifications for the ISTD as well. And I have various ways in which I like to work with people, helping you to kind of grow your schools, earn a bit more money, work a bit less, and create the school of your dreams. And I do that via workshops, retreats, seminars, conferences, guest speaking, podcasts. But the main thing that I do, which is really supportive, is I have a membership. And in the membership, you get ongoing trainings with me every month, Q&A sessions, opportunities to network with the other people in the membership, and lots of opportunities to build your skill as a business owner. But enough about me. Let's get on to how we can help you to attract a few more students. So I want you to think of your methods that you use to attract new students in terms of like a 5-layered cake, because there is no one way in order to attract new students. There really isn't. I wish I could say, just do this and you'll get hundreds of kids. But, you know, what works in one location might not work in another. What works with one demographic of student might not work with another. And sometimes, and you'll probably have all experienced this, you try one thing out, you get a nice little trickle of new students and you think, I'll do that again. In 6 weeks time, you do it again and you don't get any. Like, it really is quite, you know, it's not a clear cut. There's no cookie cutter way of just going, we need 10 new students, I'll go out tomorrow and get them. So what we really need is multiple layers of different types of attraction strategy. I don't like to use too many businessy words, but strategy is a word that just isn't another one that's that works any better than that one. So what are these 5 layers? And actually, this is a very minimalist view around marketing and attracting. You know, we could actually do this with 20 layers, but 5 is enough, I think, for us to really take on board. So online visibility. As you all know, and especially anyone that might be watching that's had their schools for a really long time, you know, we didn't do anything online. We didn't even have computers when I first started teaching. That's how old I am. You know, so there was nothing online. Everything was print marketing. It was getting out into the community. It was, you know, physical signs. You know, there was no such thing. But now it's a huge part of being visible to the general public. So a whole strategy of how you're going to be seen and visible online is really important. Then of course, social media. This is also something, you know, that's relatively new still. the kids that are growing up now. Obviously, it will just be part of their lives. We'll be really old when they think back and think of the teachers and parents that remember times when there wasn't social media, because they won't have known any different. But it's really important that we have a strong social media presence, because the thing is, if you don't, you can probably guarantee your competitors do. And if that's how an awful lot of people are now finding dance schools, then you're really going to get left behind if you haven't embraced this yet. Holding events. So, events in terms of, this is more getting out into your community. Online visibility is great, social media is great, but actually what I find is the highest converting rate of all is when you actually see people face to face, because there is nothing like making human contact and interaction with people. So we're going to go on to actually each of these strategies in a little bit. So I will go into more of what I mean in terms of events. And then using your current students. Like, there's a lot of value in our current students because they already love you. They're already your raving fans. And there's nothing better than leveraging the love and the passion and the loyalty that they have for you by getting them to help us to bring in new students. So we're going to have a little look at that one. And then finally, there's all kinds of ways that you can actually pay to advertise. And the thing is, with free advertising, with things that you do that you're not actually physically paying out money for, they're what we tend to call organic growth. There are things that kind of just people hear, word of mouth, they see you here, they see you there, they see their friend tagged in a post. Like, it's stuff that just kind of naturally means that they see you and come towards you. But that can take time. It can take a long time to establish enough of a school for that to start happening organically. There's not a strict strategy in place with organic marketing that will get you X number of students by this date. Paid advertising, although obviously nobody really wants to pay for it, it's a little bit more, it kind of speeds up the process, if you like. That you're going to get in front of people in this period of time whilst your paid advertising is doing, and you're probably going to end up with a bunch of new students. So it's really a case of kind of trying to mix the two, a bit of organic stuff and a bit of paid stuff. So first of all, just looking at online visibility, and I just have to say that this training is normally an hour long. So I'm literally cramming it into 15 minutes. So apologies if I'm not going into stuff in too much detail. It's really just to give you an overview and get the thoughts going today. So visibility online will be things like SEO, which is, for those of you that haven't come across that before, search engine optimization. And what this means is basically that when somebody types into Google or whichever browser they're using, words like dance classes near me or ballet class for tots, that if they type in certain words, you're going to pop up because your website has got those words in it and it's been optimized for search engine optimization. Or your Facebook ads may be shown to a few more people, or your reviews for your Google page may pop up and then put you in front of people. So having certain words and phrases on all of your digital assets, so as to speak, will mean that you come up before or in front of other dance schools. Now, if this just feels incredibly techy and, oh my gosh, I wouldn't know where to start with that, there are actually people, that's their job. They sort out your SEO and they keep you kind of highly visible. You need to find someone that does kind of website design. They often have SEO packages. But also getting things like reviews and testimonials is also really key to improving your online visibility. So if you haven't got one, I would highly suggest that you get a Google Pages business page. It's free, it doesn't cost anything. You put together like a little one-page mini website. It's really easy, and you get your parents to leave reviews. And then you'll start showing up a lot more on social media, but also in your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, wherever you are, anywhere you are, where people can leave you a review or a testimonial. And also trying to get these flowing in frequently and often. Even just one a fortnight means that kind of the spider's web that is the World Wide Web kind of sees fresh people constantly kind of digitally touching base with you, and they think, oh, that business is, you know, it's alive, it's it's reaching people, people are interacting, and it loves it. Whereas if you're quite dead online, then you'll be coming up on like page 3 or page 4 when people search for dance classes. So really trying to get parents to kind of trickle reviews. And one of the ways I do that is to get new parents, you know, do something with your onboarding process with a new parent that kind of requests a review. People are more likely to leave you a review within the first 4 weeks of joining your school than any other time. So having that as part of your onboarding process is great. And then free listings, because there's an awful lot of business directories online where you can just add your details in for free. So kind of trying to really utilize that online presence. And then, of course, social media, which we all know is huge. So Facebook and Instagram are the main 2 places that you're probably going to reach your clientele. It's very different for us because clients to us, or customers, or, you know, none of that, I don't like either of those words, but there isn't really one. The parents or the students that you're looking for, mostly like the adults are the payers, but the kids are actually the customers. You have 2 sets of customers, the payers and the kids that are actually arriving. We've got to reach those that are paying, the mums, the dads, the grandmas, the granddads, because they're the ones that are actually going to see it. The kids aren't going to be on social media at 6. So we've got to hit the people that are. So, you know, the main audiences at the moment are still Facebook and Instagram. Obviously, TikTok's becoming huge, but that's still obviously more awareness with your teenagers, not necessarily your 40-year-old mums and dads. But keep an eye on it because it changes all the time. Like in another 20 years' time, who knows, we might not even be on Facebook, on Instagram, we might all be on Snapchat and TikTok and something else that will have come up since then. So got to kind of stay with the times, as they say. And just being consistent, you know, being consistent with your posts and your Facebook lives, and you know, getting people to engage in your social media. Do you know, it's better that you post something 3 times a week, every week, same day, even the same time, than it is you just do random things here and there. You know, maybe 1 post 1 week and 2 another, and then you forget the week after, and then you might have a week where you do 4 because you're on fire. You know, it's much better that you could do it regularly and consistently than sporadically, sometimes great, sometimes not great, because Facebook has these things, Facebook and Instagram have these things called algorithms, which you've probably all heard about. And, you know, algorithms like a consistent pattern. And when they're not consistent, they throw a bit of a wobbly and they don't really know quite what to do. You know, it's like, you know, you start to develop a little bit of momentum with social media, and as long as you keep the momentum going, you'll keep showing up. But the minute you slow that momentum down, because say you go on holiday for 2 weeks and you don't post anything, like, it's a real job getting the momentum going again. So making sure that you use scheduling tools so that you can go on holiday and have your 3 posts a week happening, whether you're there or not. Now, 3 posts a week, I say that, obviously we'd love you to be doing a lot more. For a really strong social media presence, they say you should be posting 2 to 3 times a day. 2 to 3 times a day, which is a lot, isn't it? It's a lot to take on board, which is why a lot of people now have started using social media managers and VAs that will actually do this for them. So, you know, it really is quite a specific strategy of your time. Like, find a time once a week where you're going to spend an hour and you're going to batch create your social medias and then schedule them all so that you can then know that that's taken care of. You still need to go in and you still need to engage with comments and get people talking and chatting, but at least you know that the posts are going out there. And when you know you're really successful on your social media when you only really have to worry about putting the posts in because everybody's talking and commenting, and you've got great conversations going between your parents or your students. You know, when that's all happening, they kind of take care of the engagement for you. But when you've hit that sweet spot, when all you have to do is put one post in and then it's got loads of likes and shares and conversations going on, that's kind of when you know you're doing really well. So then quickly going on to events, though, this is like community events, face-to-face events, like, you know, fetes at schools and flash mobs in the town centre, and taking part in, you know, the Queen's Jubilee and all these kind of things. Anything where you can get your kids out there with your branded t-shirts on, with flyers, you know, maybe you've even got a big mascot, big teddy mascot or something, or doing things for charity, because these are great for gaining media exposure in the local newspapers. And any kind of performance, anywhere where you can get your kids performing, is going to be great for you know, attracting new students. But just always make sure you've got information to give them and a call to action. That's basically telling them what they need to do. You know, don't just hand them a flyer if it doesn't have a really clear message on there telling them exactly where to go, what to do to book. So you've got to be really clear with these events and maximizing them. And using your tribe is using your students. So, you know, I've already talked about testimonials, which is great for creating online kind of credibility. You could have some kind of a referral system so that if they are bringing in people for you via word of mouth, that you know, you kind of thank them for that. And the referral system can be anything from a card with, you know, stamps that you put on there and something you give them when they've brought in 5 new students, all the way up to a small box of Malteser chocolates when, you know, they bring their friend along and they sign up. It can just be something that recognizes and thanks and gives gratitude to your parents when they are raving about you to other people. And, you know, I've literally just given one example. There are so many that I teach, but, you know, bring a buddy week, bring a friend week. You know, I had a lot of my ladies that did a big Valentine's thing this year because we talked about it in a boot camp I did a couple of weeks ago. And so they had a share the love week, and they all got to bring their friends, and they all came in red, and, you know, they all paid £1 to do a mufti, and then that went to charity, so that got them in the local newspaper. You know, and, you know, it's just that whole kind of using your own students and helping them to bring in you know, other people like them. And the great thing is, you know, people like people that are like them. So if you've got students that you love and, you know, you just want more of them, please, then use their friends, because they're likely to have similar kinds of mindsets. You know, if you've got a child that comes to ballet and she also goes to gymnastics and she does horse riding lessons and she's quite active with all her, she's got parents that are quite committed to supporting her in lots of activities, the chances are her friends are very similar. I doubt very much that the friends don't do anything, you know, because they won't be her kind of people. Do you see what I mean? So it's kind of using your own students to leverage. And of course, there's loads of ways that you can do that as well, in terms of talking to parents and finding out, where do they work? Are they on the school PTA? Are they a school governor? Do they work in a big factory where there's a huge staff room? You know, really get to know your parents and find out what opportunities are out there via them. You know, even if it's just, if I give you 30 postcards, would you stick them on reception at the nursery? You know, anything that parents are always really willing to help. So, yeah, really kind of leveraging your opportunities using the students that you've got. And then lastly, paid advertising. You know, sometimes you do just want to get some more people through the door. You're happy to put some money towards it. So it might be that you have a budget for Facebook, and you have a couple of times a year when you do Facebook ads. You might want to spend some money on those, that SEO that we talked about, by having a Google Ads campaign. And you may even put some money into some of your events, for example, like Bring a Buddy, or maybe you do something like Picnic in the Park, and you have someone that comes along with a bouncy castle and you give free burgers and things, and they all get to do a little performance and bring their friends. You know, even though that's a retention event, it's also a fabulous event for bringing in new people. But that's going to cost a little bit of money, isn't it, putting on an event like that? So really map it out, really think about how, when, what's my budget going to be? what am I going to spend it on? Am I spending a little bit of my money across all 5 layers of that marketing cake, or have I thrown it all into Facebook ads and there's never anything left over for the other types of marketing that we've talked about today? And really try and work out when is your main times in the year when you should be focusing on these campaigns. Here in the UK, for us, it's kind of August, September, getting ready for the new academic year. Generally speaking, and I am generalizing here, for most people, then the next busiest term is the kind of January term after Christmas, and the summer term tends to be a bit quieter. But obviously, wherever you are in the world, that's going to be different. So identify when is your biggest attraction time, your second biggest time, and then maybe your quietest, and you try different tactics throughout those different times, and really plan and diarize what it is you're going to do and when. Like, don't just kind of treat it as a willy-nilly kind of like, oh, I need some more students, oh, we better do some advertising. Like, really create a plan for the year. And last but not least, try and measure how each of these things actually turn out, because so many times I see people that go back and do a certain event again and again when it didn't really work the first time. So if something doesn't work and you've worked out how much money did I spend, what time did I put into that, and what did I get from it, if it's not that great, do you need to spend more money or put more time towards it? Or is it just something that's not really a great strategy for you in your area? So you really do need to do this thing that we call return on investment, which is when you just kind of sit down and you just think through, you look at the numbers, the figures, and you decide going forwards whether it's worth doing again, or maybe it's worth doing a lot more of. Maybe you had something that was really successful and you think, gosh, if I actually did this on a bigger scale, what could it bring me in next time? But you do need to measure the things that you're doing. And that's it. That's literally my hour long. There's normally lots more I put in each of those layers, so I just kind of close it down a little bit today. But I hope you got something out of that. I hope that's the sort of thing you were looking for, Sue.
Absolutely. No, that was brilliant. Thank you, Deborah. No, it was really good. And thank you for wrapping it all into, a shorter amount of time. I appreciate that. It must have been quite tough with so much that you've got to share as well. So I don't know whether Emma or Helen have any questions before we let you all get back to implement some of these really brilliant ideas.
Yes, I'm sorry. I normally stop and let people chat as we go along, but I knew that if I stopped, I probably wasn't going to get it all in.
No, it's brilliant. Does Emma or Helen have any questions at all?
I just wanted to say thank you, because that's really useful for me. I think as I said to Sue earlier, we've got a couple of new dance schools opening the doors on the same day, at the same time, in the same place as us, and my plan really is to get stuck into the marketing and make sure that we're getting our name out there to everybody. So that's actually come at a perfect time, and I've got lots to think about, but at least I've got some really good ideas to get on with stuff. So yeah, brilliant. So thank you very much for that.
And a really quick tip for you in terms of lots of schools and new schools opening on your door, as well as working really hard on your attraction, the other thing I would say to work hard on is work out what makes you different to them. Because as soon as you can really find something that makes your school a little bit unique, we talk about it in business as something called a USP, your unique selling point. If you can really establish what that is, and if you don't have one, create one, then when you're doing all this marketing and advertising, people are going to come to you because you're you and what you're doing. And the ones that are looking for what you do specifically will look at the other schools, but they'll just bounce back into your pocket because you're the thing that they want. But when you all look like you're doing the same thing, it's really hard. Then you're really sharing that marketplace, and you want to get them as many towards you as you can. I hope that helps too.
It really does. I think for us, we're the longest established school in the area, so I'm hoping that sort of works in our favour a little bit.
Yeah, you've got a lot.
But thank you for that. That's really useful.
You've got a lot of USPs, Emma, which we can always talk about as well. But we were talking about that briefly before before the little skill building session. But yeah, definitely. But yes, so we will share all the links. So definitely highly recommend following Deborah on Instagram and joining her Facebook community, because she gives away so much free information, which is really useful to help you in your dance business. And there's lots of other things that she does as well, including a brilliant retreat, which she's just done this year and has one planned for February 2023, which is already half sold. So if that's of interest to you, I would highly suggest that you book as soon as you can. But do connect with her and benefit from all the tips and information and her experience and everything she's bringing to the table. So Deborah, thank you so much for giving us your time.
Thank you for having me, and I hope that's helped a few people.
Absolutely. And we will be sharing this across all the social media, and yeah, lots of people will benefit from it. So not just the four of us in the room. But thanks very much for joining me. I'm going to stop recording now. Stop, if I can work out how to do it. Stop video. No, not stop video. How do I stop recording? It's disappeared. Here we go.